Hi everyone, and welcome to the new reinvigorated Wise Words English channel. It's been a while since we brought you any videos. In fact, it's been a long while. Still, I have some time on my hands at the moment, some new video making equipment, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of my observations and ideas about English with you. Today's video is a look into the world of Konglish. What is Konglish? Well, Wikipedia defines Konglish as the use of English words or phrases by Korean speakers of English in ways that are not easily understandable to native English speakers. A classic example of this would be handphone. In Korea, handphone is used to mean mobile phone. Although both of the words are English words, they are not used in this way by native speakers. Indeed, Konglish stretches further to the use of incorrectly assigned loanwords and direct mistranslations. So Konglish is an interesting phenomenon for sure. So with Konglish, English words have been taken and their use and meaning have been adapted by Korean speakers to express certain specific meanings in uniquely Korean context. So today we'll look at 5 phrases that Korean speakers of English routinely use incorrectly. It's debatable whether all of these can be considered Konglish as such. However, I am covering them in this video as many of my Korean students often use these phrases in the certainty that they are correct and used by native speakers, when in fact they are all slightly wrong for one reason or another. Right, on to the Konglish. Phrase 1 is nice to meet you. You might think there's nothing wrong with this, but it is often used by Korean English speakers to greet someone they are already familiar with. So a typical example would be as follows. John might say, "Hi Sujin, how are you today? It's been a while since we last talked." And Sujin replies, "Nice to meet you, John. Yes, long time no see." You need to know that native English speakers only use this the first time they meet someone new. When you meet someone you already know or you're already familiar with, you should say nice to see you or good to see you again. Or another greeting phrase with see. Don't use meet for someone you already know. Okay? Alright. Phrase 2 is my senior. This is an interesting one. In Korea, which has an age-oriented social structure and places importance on hierarchical relationships, the use of senior to denote someone older, more experienced, or simply more powerful is a natural part of the language. A typical example would be something like this. Sujin says, my senior asked me to come for drinks after work to meet the new team. Here, senior is used to denote an older colleague, perhaps a line manager or a more experienced member of the team. However, I would say that in Western countries as a whole, we place much less emphasis on age-based relationships, and people do not establish their position in society based on their age. Everyone is supposedly equal. And it doesn't matter, how old you are. Of course, we respect our elders, but we don't automatically assign them the status of senior, which in many cases in Korea seems to connote ideas of superiority. Okay. Senior in English, and especially American English, simply refers to someone's age, okay, not their status or level of power or superiority over other people. So maybe instead of using senior, you can just say colleague or manager, okay? Okay, phrase 3 is to marry with someone. I often hear students say things like, my favorite idol married with a Japanese actress. Well, there are 2 mistakes here. The first one is that we don't usually use to marry as a verb, sort of in and of itself, when referring to both participants in the action. It's unusual to say, for example, they married and then went on their honeymoon to Hawaii. It's not wrong, but it's old-fashioned. Okay, and not really used nowadays. It's much better to say they got married and then went on their honeymoon to Hawaii. So, we get married to another person. This use of get denotes the process of marriage and a wedding, as opposed to the action of marrying. The second error here is the use of the preposition with, which should be to. We get married to someone, not with someone, okay? So, to conclude, the correct sentence should be, my favorite idol got married to a Japanese actress. Okay, phrase 4 is not really a phrase at all, merely a word, and that's the word play. A recent example from a homework writing assignment submitted by one of my university students goes as follows. I like travelling, I can relax, visit the sights, and play with my friends when I'm on vacation. Play with my friends? You might say there isn't anything grammatically or syntactically wrong with this, and you'd be right. However, the homework was submitted by a 20-year-old man. That's right, the verb play is only used for children in English. Once you become an adult, sadly, you must stop playing with your friends. Unfortunately, if you use this word, people might think you're being childish. And it does sound a little strange when soju drinking adults say they are playing with their friends. Okay? So instead, use something like hang out with or spend time with. This sounds a bit more grown up in English. Finally, phrase 5 is an expression that is often used by Koreans speaking English to give advice, and that's you'd better. You'd better. Here's an example. You'd better have breakfast before you go to school because you'll be able to concentrate more. What the speaker actually means to say here is you should have breakfast. That's right. So should is much better for giving advice than you'd better. Actually, you'd better is often used as a threat in English, and that's not a good thing. It's something you really didn't want to hear your dad say when you were a kid. He might have said, you'd better do your homework or you won't be able to play football with your friends. So we can say that you'd better is used to give very strong advice, but when there is a definite potential negative consequence for doing or not doing the action in question. Alright, so it's a threat. For simply giving advice, just you should or maybe ought to. Okay everyone, so those are 5 phrases or words which are often used mistakenly by Korean speakers of English and could be considered even to be Konglish. I hope this video has been interesting and useful. please subscribe and press the like button and all that stuff if you'd like to see more videos like this one. And if you agree or disagree that these phrases are Konglish, put a comment down below. Or if you have any other phrases that you'd like to know, whether or not they're correct, or if you think they're Konglish or not, please add them in the comments. Alright guys, thank you very much, and thanks for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye.